Alright, what's poppin', my beautiful peoples, my beautiful peoples? In today's video, right, I'm actually going to be talking about this, my self-esteem, right, and the things that I had to go through growing up to even get to where I'm at now. I'm not saying, I've made it to extreme heights in life, but I'm for damn sure a lot more confident and a lot more sure in myself than I was in the past. And I think that these type of videos could help anybody, especially if what triggered your low self-esteem was a little bit of heartbreak. I got you. So as you guys know, we're going to open this video up with my notes because I'm a writer and I feel like I could probably articulate this a little bit better if I just write it to you. I've lived with terrible self-esteem my whole life. I grew up in LA, didn't have a dad at home, and was absolutely terrible with women. I spent my childhood thinking so low of myself and abilities. I didn't realize how much that affected me till I got older. I found myself having to relearn myself. A lot of solo dates, quiet nights, and it was becoming so hard to see myself in that positive light. But over time, it got better. It's crazy, but continuously getting my heart broken is what built me up. I learned some of my greatest lessons by watching how other people live life and promising to myself I wouldn't become the person that they have. I started reverse engineering my own healing process. I looked at other people with low self-esteem and broken hearts, then simply started doing the opposite of what they were doing. You talk negatively about yourself. Well, I'm about to be delusional and say that I'm a king. You complain about hating your job. Well, I'm about to dedicate myself to my passions. You're scared of women and treat them horribly. Well, I'm about to treat them with complete confidence and love. After a while, I started seeing the results of taking different routes. My life wasn't being dominated by low frequency perspectives anymore. Once I tricked my mind into believing something better, I started to manifest better. When you lack healthy perspectives, it's up to you to search for those healthier ones. Okay, now it was a lot right there that I somewhat want to unpack, right? Because I was touching on the perspective of a broken household at the beginning, right? And then I moved more into adulthood, heartbreak, and how I used heartbreak as a catalyst to heal everything else, right? What do I mean by this, man? I started healing my mother issues, my father issues. I started addressing my own self-esteem problems, my nervous system. Like this is even something that I was working on, so a couple of days ago. I had to calm myself down. I was like, why do I feel so anxious? Why am I hyper, criticizing myself? Why am I picking apart my every move? And it came from a childhood wound, continuous, high expectations or needing to always do better than what I currently was. It made me predict more chaos. It made me never think that I was done. I always thought that there was something else that was going to happen. There was something else that was going to need my attention. There was something else that I was going to need to fix or adjust in order for me to, move forward. It was very rare that I was in a headspace of, I know what I need to know. Now I just need to flow. That wasn't a perspective that was, instilled. It was, nope, be better, get better, get better, get better, get better. And then when you're already striving to the highest of that you can, and you fall short by the natural adversities of life, you will start viewing those natural adversities of life as like character flaws. Like if I was a better person, I wouldn't have took this L instead of this is just an L. Like that's just natural. That's just the natural flow of life. And I just need to keep going forward. Thinking that everything was my fault, everything was on me, put me in this hyper, it's like hyper independence in a way, but then it was it was disabling in that same facet because by me being so fixated on my moves and trying to make the right moves, I wasn't making any moves because I was stuck in the analytical process of my decisions, which wasn't productive at all. And then I started getting into these relationships, and I think a good amount of them was narcissists. Not a good amount of them, like a handful, not all of them, But the ones that really messed me up, they were showing some very narcissistic traits, right? And anybody who's done dealt with a narcissist before knows that it is a very known instance for you to start thinking you were the problem. Like you got gaslit so heavily that you don't even know what the problem is anymore. Like you think it's them, but you also think it's you, and you can never come to a complete decision because They've like switched like all their everything that they should been accountable for got pushed onto you, and the things that you were already accountable for. So it makes it look like you're the villain. It's like this whole thing that happens when you're dealing with a narcissist. But in the healing process of that, you get so much perspective once you know that they were a narcissist. Because then you can start saying, oh, you were acting a certain way that was causing me to act a certain way because I was also moving from an unhealed energy, right? I was a giver, you were a taker. We were both in an unhealed, traumatized energy, and we just coexisted in the same place. Oh, this isn't so much of, you're doing something to me as I'm subjecting myself to a situation. I started to see contrast. Once you can see contrast in situations, you start realizing how not messed up you were. You get what I'm saying? Like when people be out here like heartbroken and, they be feeling some type of way after they've done had, close time with somebody. You get what I'm saying? It is normal for you to feel that level of detachment if you are tapped into your spirit at all, if you are tapped into your emotions at all. But in this culture, right? It is very known for us to kill our emotions, just have fun, and or operate out of lust, in other words. If you're comparing yourself to that headspace, you're going to think you're the problem. Until you actually acknowledge that that's the problem, you stop belittling yourself and questioning yourself based upon the doings of others. Are you catching what I'm saying? Like my self-esteem really did start coming from looking outward. I'm complaining, from people who stay with their parents and all that type of stuff, right? I was hot. I'm like, damn, why does this cost so much to live in LA? I'm trying to, and I don't want to move to the hood. I want to get loose. So it's like, damn, I need a lot of money. But then you start driving down the street and you see a homeless person sleeping on the side of the street. Then you're like, oh, well, maybe I'm doing a little bit better than I thought. Maybe I should just chill out. My self-esteem literally came from looking at other people. And I know that's crazy because it'd be like you shouldn't compare, but like you got to be real with yourself sometimes. There's always somebody doing a lot better and there's always somebody doing a lot worse. But if you think that you are the bottom of the barrel, then damn. It's like, yeah, of course you're going to be in like a messed up headspace if you don't understand that it could always be worse, but it could always get better. And if you keep that optimistic headspace, you start to move a little bit different. I think enabling choice has changed so much in my life. I mean, like really being like, when somebody tells me something, do I actually want to do this? Does this sound right? What is my body telling me? Is this, you get what I'm saying? Like giving myself more choice. Yeah, you told me that. Do I want to believe it? Do I want to? Is this something that, I feel like I should, or anything like that? I start giving myself choice. And the moment we give ourselves choice, that gives us so much freedom. That gives us so much space to live and enjoy life on every facet. Letting go of my past was one of the hardest things for me. And last year, at the beginning of this year, I actually purged out a lot of energy, right? I started asking myself certain questions. I was like, I want to attract a wife, right? And I believe it's this saying, he who finds a wife found a good thing. Not he who found a girl on the street, decided to talk to her, get to know her, made her his girlfriend, had to teach her how to do all of this, eventually got on his knee, married her, and then he got a wife. No, that wasn't how that. He found her in the spirit of her being a wife, meaning she was already doing the things that a wife would be doing in order to attract a man who was on that frequency. And I started looking at myself. I'm like, am I even operating out of that energy? Let me get rid of all of the past energies. Let me get rid of all my baggage. You feel me? Let me start focusing on my mental health. Let me start focusing on my finances. Let me start focusing on the things that I would actually need to be a good partner. My emotional intelligence and everything else like that, and showing up in life differently. I'm not about to have this one night stand with you. You got me very up. You can get out my car. I'm not going there with you. Who do you think I am? Like, like I really had to start holding myself to a different standard and showing up differently with my energy because man, you're only gonna attract what you are. Every single time I was on that lustful tip, I attracted exactly that. another lustful individual. Every single time I was moving out of my hurt, out of my trauma, or a unhealed attachment wound, oh boy, I attracted tenfold. But once I step back, you remove the lust, in other words, from a lot of these situations, you start realizing what I'm looking for is kind of boring. I'm looking for something chill. I'm looking for something that isn't, heart aching and, you know, chaotic, and I'm always on 10. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. It took me eventually to getting in a different relationship where I didn't have to do that. Um, Now, even though I had to get that person going too, because, not everybody's perfect. And sometimes just lack of, compatibility, everything else, right? But like I said before, it took comparison. And I actually do want to say I'm very thankful for the women that I've ran across who did show me better in the areas where some women have shown me their worst. Because it's like, damn, if it wasn't for you guys, I would have thought all of you guys were just terrible. But I'm so happy you guys came into my life and at least showed me that one thing differently. So it opened my eyes to I have choice. You get what I'm saying? I have options, not in an egotistical or an arrogant way. It's in a way of I need to choose what's best for me. I'm not going to choose what's available because just going off of what's available to us that's in other words, lust or a very low frequency or bot energy. You get what I'm saying? But once you're like, I see everything that's available, but I'm only going to intertwine with things that is serving my highest good, my highest purpose, your life just it plays out differently. You glow differently. Things come to you differently. Like the conversations are different, and that's just been what I've been trying to embody. Like I want a wife. Like I'm pretty sure every man does, but I also understand that that comes with a certain level of responsibility and intentionality if you want to do it right. I'm not the type of nigga. I do not want to have multiple baby mom. I don't look. My baby mother needs to be my wife, my girlfriend, my best friend, and whatever the else comes up. I don't want to have multiple families in different places. I don't want to just the BS. I want to be happily and married for the rest of my life. Once I find you, you're mine and you're not going anywhere. That's the energy I'm bringing to the table. And if I'm going to be asking of that and asking to find a person with that level of loyalty and that level of faith as well, I better be ready to do it my damn self. Because if I actually do meet that person, and I'm not where I need to be, I'm not at the energy, I'm not at the frequency that I need to be at, she's going to walk right past me. It's not even going to happen. It's going to be a thing of the past because I wasn't ready. But once, you feel me, I get ready, once I'm like just living in that flow of abundant, graceful, loyal, faithful, committed energy, it's going to show everywhere else. Like, I wrote down in my thing too, you want to be in a committed relationship. A committed man is committed everywhere. A committed man is not just committed when it comes to his relationship. If that man is slipping on his discipline, on his fitness, he not eating right, he not making the money that he needs to be making, he not committed to his purpose, what makes you think he's going to be committed to the woman that he's sleeping with at night? He don't give a damn about you either. You get what I'm saying? A man who is committed in the gym, committed to his finances, committed to his family, that man is probably a very high candidate of being committed to you in a relationship. But if this nigga is just on the wall, on the flow, spontaneous, he has, like, you can clearly look at him and see he has not committed to anything. What makes you think the first thing he's going to commit to in his or her life is going to be a relationship? It don't work like that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, commitment is a muscle. Commitment is like a lifestyle, and I'm learning that, and I'm starting to implement it. Because it ain't nothing out here. These streets is treacherous. These streets is bad for you. It ain't nothing out here but three. Oh my God, I don't even want to be disrespectful. It ain't nothing out here. So when you find something worth your time, please don't let it loose. Take your time. You gonna step outside thinking you gonna find something better, and you're not. And I'm telling you, you gonna go through some ones, you gonna go through some pain, you gonna go through some heartbreak. You gonna go through some low self-esteem moments. But once you fall into that divine love, keep it. Keep it. Let it trigger you. It probably needed to trigger you. You needed to grow the up. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just where I'm at with it now. I know I started the video talking about just low self esteem, not having a dad, and all this other type of stuff. You feel me? But I'm a lover. I by nature I'm a lover boy. You feel me? I look. I gracefully get my feelings hurt. Like I sometimes know women aren't good for me. Sometimes I know you're about to dog me, but I love you. So it. Let's prove me wrong. Nope, you proved me right. That's fine. I already knew. You see, you can't get mad at some shit you already know. But nah, yeah, let me get back on topic. Let me get back on topic. Self-esteem, that's just where I'm at with it. Just believing in yourself, living life how you want to, and bringing that feel good energy, and just simply choosing to do the opposite. Like, don't be bitter. If you don't want to live a bitter, broke, lonely life, then you need to work on your people skills. You need to work on your finances, and you guys get what I'm saying. Just do the opposite, and you might get somewhere. So with that being said, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Message to South Central and my guided healing meditation is down in the description. Go ahead and check that out. And without further ado, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.